Tesla stock is down about 4% here in after hours after the earnings call with Elon Musk and the executives. We need to talk about Tesla stock and what is coming next, the good things that were said, as well as one area of concern. How does this ultimately affect Tesla stock? I think that is the big question most of us have out there, because after all, it wasn't that bad, right? Netflix is down almost 10% here in after hours, and Tesla doing much better than that. Let's go ahead and get into all of this information. If this is your first time to the channel and you would like to stay up to date with everything happening every single day with Tesla stock, as well as the broader markets, hit that subscribe button as well as the like button, and let's get straight into it. Tesla reported Q2 operating income of $2.4 billion on sales of $24.9 billion. Wall Street was looking for operating profit of $2.7 billion, earnings of 80 cents a share, and sales of $24.2 billion. CEO Elon Musk on the company's earnings conference call said, quote, "We're in turbulent times." Now, Tesla beat the EPS estimates, and this likely means over the next coming days and next couple of weeks, analysts are going to bring up their EPS estimates for next quarter as well as for 2024, and this will have a positive effect on Tesla's valuation. If you're looking at Tesla and valuing it from the PE metric instead of the PEG ratio or price to sales, well, PE currently stands after today's drop at about 75. Now, if earnings estimates go higher, well, that's going to mean your forward PE, which currently sits at about 60, could look something like 55 or even as low as 50 if these EPS estimates do get risen. Gross profit margins in the car business, excluding regulatory credits, came in at 18.1%. Now, a lot of your bulls on Tesla were expecting around 17.5 gross auto margins. So this was much better than expectations. Even analysts such as Dan Ives was expecting 17.5% gross auto margins. And we expect them to get better throughout the rest of this year. Some of your Tesla bears were even expecting auto gross margins as low as 15%. Tesla's numbers were better than even your bullish analysts were expecting. So why is the stock falling, and what was said on the earnings call? Some of the notable bullish developments on today's earnings call was the transfer of full self-driving. This is actually something that people have been asking for a long time. Essentially, if you have a Model 3 with full self-driving that you bought maybe 2 years ago, and now you want to upgrade to a Model S or a Model X. Elon said don't expect this to last forever, but here in Q3, essentially, we will allow you to transfer your full self-driving to a new vehicle. So this should help out to some degree demand, and that should be a good thing for Tesla's delivery numbers. Also, full self-driving, and this is probably the biggest thing that got overlooked on the earnings call. Full self-driving will be licensed to legacy OEMs. Elon said they're actually in talks currently to license full self-driving with at least one of these automakers. This is massively bullish. Full self-driving has near 100% profit margins. It's about 90% net profit margin. So this could, if it happens, explode Tesla's EPS growth. And why I say this was overlooked, because you only seen a slight rally in Tesla stock at the time. I think broader market effects like Netflix just dying in after hours, as well as the broader markets falling, kind of overlooked what Elon said. And I would have expected this to have a much bigger positive effect to Tesla stock. We also got an update on the Cybertruck. Although we were hoping to get finer, more clear delivery estimates for 2023, we did not get an update in that realm. he did say that things are on track with the Cybertruck, and they are putting together the last final parts for mass production of the Cybertruck, which ultimately the Cybertruck is going to be a massive win. Just for reference here, in case you guys are unfamiliar, the Cybertruck has 1.6 million pre-orders. The Ford F-150 Lightning, the truck for the truck guys right now, as some of your bearish analysts put it on Tesla, has about 200,000 reservations. So Tesla has 8 times the amount of reservations of the Cybertruck than Ford has for the F-150 Lightning, which is obviously seeing their own demand problems. Elon also did say that for 8060 cell production seen an 80% quarter-over-quarter growth rate. What that ultimately means and what this new battery cell is, this was unveiled on Battery Day. This is for your Tesla Semi as well as your Cybertruck. So if you want to deliver Cybertrucks, you obviously need to ramp your battery cell production for these vehicles as well, and that looks to be on track. Elon actually joked in the earnings call that in such a capital intensive market, we are still cash flow positive, that was a miracle, which obviously was to the point. Some investors were expecting free cash flow to be negative this quarter, and it actually came in 1.01 billion positive. So Tesla added over $1 billion to their balance sheet. Money in the bank, in other terms. Whereas analysts apparently were expecting over $2 billion of free cash flow. These numbers were never realistic to begin with, and this was never really the expectation. That's why when these initial numbers came out, markets did not sell off Tesla stock, even though it looked like things missed as far as free cash flow is concerned. Elon also said during the earnings call that when the markets are too optimistic, maybe it's a good time to sell, but if there is a sell-off in Tesla stock, that would be a good buying opportunity. Elon Musk went as far as to say he expects Tesla's value as a company to grow 5 to 10x here in the mid to long term, the next coming years, presumably the next 5 or 10 years. We also got an optimist update on the earnings call in which things are going in the right direction. We didn't get too much clarity, but they are going to start utilizing the robot as soon as possible. Elon Musk also was essentially bragging about Dojo, that Dojo has a lot of data and information that it's going to be able to learn from video footage that has been captured on Teslas out on the road. And instead of your average driver with full self-driving driving 10 hours a week with full self-driving and trying to make the cars get trained off of that, Dojo is going to be able to supercharge the training activity of Tesla's full self-driving. So this should be a big improvement, and we could expect more developments later in this year in regards to full self-driving. But again, I think something that's going to be a real sticking point for analysts over the next couple of hours and the next couple of days is the licensing of full self-driving. Elon confirmed that they are in talks to license full self-driving to an OEM maker. We can only speculate who that could be, probably a Ford or a GM, if I were to say so myself. The only thing that was quite negative that was said on the earnings call that really caused this majority of the sell-off that we're seeing in after hours, Tesla at the time of recording this video, down 4.69%, is this. An analyst asked Elon if they still expect to reach 1.8 million deliveries by the end of this year without further price cuts. And Elon said it depends. It depends on the way the economy evolves. He said if the economy gets worse from here and interest rates continue to stay high and even go higher, then they might have to cut prices, that would be a possibility. He also said to the contrary, if things improve, that they won't need to cut prices, and that maybe even guidance can be higher. Maybe deliveries end up at 2 million. That continues to be the high-end guidance of this year. But what this really highlighted is uncertainty. And the markets hate uncertainty more than bad news. Markets can deal with bad news. But it was the uncertain nature of how Elon answered that question that spooked markets. Now, there is a silver lining to this, and we're going to talk about potentially where Tesla stock is going from here. But the uncertainty is not good. Basically, Elon and the executives have no idea where things are going to go towards the end of this year, which is reasonable. Obviously, analysts have no idea. They continue to be wrong. Economists continue to be wrong. Nobody really understands or knows where things are going towards the end of this year, but it was the uncertainty that got Tesla stock. Now, in regards to where Tesla stock goes from here, there's a couple factors to be considered. Again, Tesla did very well on a numbers basis. The uncertainty that Elon expressed was not enough to justify a massive sell-off in Tesla. You're down marginally compared to the rally that we have seen thus far. This likely means coming tomorrow morning is when you're going to get the real test of what's coming next with Tesla stock. I highlighted this during our live stream of the earnings call. Volume in after hours is very low, and it has been very low. It really hasn't picked up at all throughout the earnings call or any other moment. The volume in after hours is 5 to 10 times lower than what you've seen today in regular trading. So until the markets open and until you get heavy volume, you're not going to know a clear direction for Tesla. It's very possible that some of the bullish things that were said on the earnings call and the bullish numbers that came out will have a positive effect on Tesla, and you could rally to 300 or higher over the next coming days and next coming week or two. Keep in mind, the licensing of full self-driving and active talks to license this technology. I don't think that is something that will ultimately get swept under the rug. I think when analysts, and especially your bullish analysts, pick up on this, this could be reason to lift some of your price targets and to upgrade Tesla stock from maybe some of those holds to a buy. The gap between your hold price targets and your buy price targets is around $85. This is historically a very large gap for Tesla. So you should start to see after this earnings, in my personal opinion, is some not only raising of price targets, but raising from holds to a buy after Elon showed the business is doing much better than the bears would have hoped to see. Again, I would like to highlight we did not get official guidance on whether to expect price cuts or not in the future. So what's going to happen is analysts are really going to dictate where the expectations are for this. Kind of the same way Apple doesn't really give you forward guidance. Analysts have to take in all this information and come to their own conclusions. And that's what moves around your estimates for things such as margins, revenue, EPS, so on and so forth. So that's what we need to figure out over the next 12 to 36 hours here. And this happens quite often in Tesla, where Tesla will sell off the day after earnings and then ultimately rally weeks later. So again, if this was truly a negative earnings for Tesla, Tesla stock would be down a lot more than where it is now. To some degree, this earnings justifies Tesla's current valuation and potentially an even higher valuation, and what it really does is prove that the short sellers and the bears have been wrong this entire time. Short seller losses are sitting over $15 billion even after today's drop in after hours, and this is a problem. A lot of your bears and a lot of your shorts expected Tesla to fall a lot more today. And coming tomorrow, I think they're going to be highly upset if Tesla does recover in normal trading hours. This could prompt short sellers to cover on some of their short positions to get that loss out of their portfolio and could ultimately cause a bullish effect to Tesla stock. So in final summary, what you need to know as you exit this video: Tesla's earnings, the actual EPS, the revenue, the auto gross margins, the return on equity, literally everything was positive, better than expectations, and even better than your bullish analyst expectations. The only thing that was negative is that Elon would not confirm whether or not we're going to get price cuts later in this year. And that's pretty logical. If I think about this, Elon gets sued all the time, probably the most sued person of all time. He's not really allowed to make those kind of statements if he does not know with 100% certainty that price cuts are not coming. If they needed to cut prices, well, if Elon promised that he wouldn't cut prices, that's a cause for concern, potentially a cause for litigation. And that's the last thing Elon wants or needs at this moment in time. So I think it's a lot more benign than other people are going to say. I don't really expect we are going to get price cuts, and I think the markets will look past this ultimately. The biggest thing that you should really point out is that the bears were wrong. The bears and the shorts were hoping for a larger downside reaction in Tesla's earnings. They were hoping Tesla's numbers were worse than where they ultimately were. This EPS beat especially, and presumably margins improving later into this year and into 2024, is going to have a positive effect on lowering Tesla's valuation. Tesla's valuation now is lower than it was yesterday, based off of this EPS beat, and presumably estimates needing to go higher for 2024's EPS. So your PE ratio just got smaller. And that looks a lot better if you are currently buying Tesla. Long story short, Elon says that you should buy the dip in great companies that are innovating and that are going to be around a long time. And Elon was basically telling you for any dip that you see in Tesla, you should buy it. And that's exactly what we plan to do. So we really won't know how Tesla stock is likely to react to this earnings until we get into tomorrow, until we see regular trading. If you start to see a run up in Tesla stock, in which I anticipate that we will see, well, maybe the uncertainty does get swept under the rug. Maybe things like licensing a full self-driving are the bullish points that ultimately prevail through the uncertainty. And maybe that's what the markets actually pay attention to after all. All in all, today was a success for Tesla. Still, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I expect a bullish reaction, but we shall see. Let me know down below in the comment section, what do you guys think about this earnings for Tesla? What do you think about all of this information? And ultimately, where do you think Tesla stock is going from here over the next coming days, in the next coming weeks? Thank you for watching. Check out the links down below in the description of this video. If you want to come trade with us live in real time every time I make a trade, hedge out your positions when hedging is right. Link down below in the description of this video. We had a hedge on some of our trades, so either way this thing goes, we should be in the clear and ready to make some sweet, sweet money. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.